Presentation, and Sandhya's presentation is Matri Shakti worship in Bharat.
And I will straight go to the topic. Next slide. My purpose was to explore whether there was a coexistence of various belief systems in ancient India, as opposed to the current notion that there has been always a friction between the religious beliefs. Next slide, please. India has always considered the feminine as divine, and the cultural and traditional values provided nourishment for such a belief system. Peaceful, harmonious portrayal of belief systems is always evident in all through the history of ancient India. And female monks have been found in all religions, not only in Hinduism, not only in Jainism. Buddhist female monks are also there. So females were leading an ascetic life also at that times. And the early societies were inclusive in nature, in the sense, with regardless of gender, regardless of race, regardless of belief systems, they all stood together for the harmonious coexistence. Like Hinduism, Jainism, and there is a Vanadurga Amman worship which is evident in the current study of literature that I have taken, that is Silappatikaram. Next slide, please. So there are different linguistic lineages in India, as evident from the Dravidian system as well as the Aryan system. The Sangam literary texts are one of the prominent texts from the south. They exhibit the life of society practices and guidance and worship rituals of deities during that time. The first Agatya Nul, it was thought to be written by sage Agastya, but the reference is found, but we have not yet found the exact text. The reference is found in all other texts which has come in the later stages. Tolkappiyam by Tolkappian, Ettuthogai, that is considering Agapurul, Purapurul and Paripadal, which is a mix, and Pathupattu, which includes description of kings, deities and prominent cities. These are the major Sangam literary works. Next slide. So there were female poetesses during that time. That is what I found it interesting, because females were given education as well as they were prominent and they were well recognized. Avayar, Adimantiyar, Karpendu, Velvithiyar, Kaklai Padiniyar, Nanmullayar, Machityar, all these poetesses included the Shaiva Pasurams, Vaishnava Stotrams and other religious deities also. Silappatikaram and Manimekalai are the twin epics of Sangam literature, which are the hallmarks. It's one among the Imperial Kavyam, that is Manimekalai, Sivaga Sindhamani, Valayamadi and Kundalakeshi. The first epic in Tamil language is Silappatikaram. It not only depicts a society, it is a mix of music, dance, art, religion and trade, governance, everything. Some consider it as a fiction, but I don't consider it because there are several historical evidences validating its existence. Next. The earliest Pamli scripts were found in Grantha script, that is little before the Prakrit script came into existence. Between 3rd BC and 3rd AD, that was the time when these literary pieces were thought to be written. There are mentions of the land forms, that is Kurinji, Mullai, Neidal, Maridam, Palai. These are the 5 forms of land which is found in the southern kingdom of Tamil Nadu, or the Dravidian one. Ancient Madurai and Poompuhar. The legendary port city, that is Kaveri Poompatnam, is referenced in Sangam literature, especially in Silappatikaram, and the evidences for such a city being drowned is found in the latest exploratory works. Next slide. Next slide. The Sangam literature. Especially Silappatikaram, the protagonist Kannagi is from the Vaishya traders, the Vaishya clan, that is the traders clan of the city. It is centered around, I don't know how many of you know the story. I'll just tell in a brief. It's a story of a very simple woman, very ordinary woman like me and you, who is entered into happy marital life, whose husband cheated her, went to a prostitute, and again came back. She, with her benevolence, took him back and had a change of mind. So they are going to another city for a new life, in hopes of a new life. But some consequences happen in the city where her husband is marked as a thief by the king. Kannagi goes, without questioning, the king makes a haste judgment to kill the husband, and he is killed. Yeah. Kannagi went and questioned the king for the injustice. In the sense, why should the king have a haste judgment without even questioning or without even scrutiny? That was what she asked. And in her anger, she burned down the whole city of Madurai, and she becomes the deity because of her chastity and benevolence and her steadfastness to stand for justice. There are three main kandams, that is the main chapters, Puhar, Madurai and Vanji Kandam. They refer to the cities in which the total story happens. Next. Ilango Adigal is the son of Vanji king Cherladan and brother of Cheran Chenguttavan. Cheran Chenguttavan is none other than the king who went to Himalayas and took the stone from Himalayas to make a Pradishta for Kannagi in the south. The Kannagi temple is there in Mangala Devi temple on the border of Kerala and Tamil Nadu, the Western Ghats. He accepted monastery and became a monk. Adigal was added later. So Cherladan Shivabhakti is described here, and the references for his Shaiva sect, that is Shivabhakti, is already immersed all through the epic. Next slide, sir. It's the earliest Hindu, Jain, Tamil semi-legendary epic consisting of 5,730 lines. Of the 8 anthologies, 5 are in Agam, Puram and on both. Next. The poems on Agam as well as Puram theme are written in this meter. It's a tragic love story. As I said, it's a tragic love story of an ordinary couple. How she becomes the deity. Next. I'll just go fast in this. Okay. Yeah. This is the portion that I referred, that is Podirilayinum, Imayayinum, 17 Variyai, Parangodi Chari, E Poduvuru Sirappin, Pugarayinum, Nadikindri Nilayir, Yenbadalla, Odikkan Kurur, Uyarndor, Unmeyin, Muditta Kelvi, Mudintunar Dore. That refers to the Pumpuhar city which is being drowned. This happened around between 3rd BC to 5 BC, and this epic was thought to be believed to be written around 5 to 7 AD, between these two. Next slide. So the central characters are Kannagi, Kovalan and Madhavi. As I said, such characters are persons used to be part of society. Seventhi, Vayanthimale, Madhuri are all supporting characters in that. And there is Tirumavalavan, the mention of kings, so many numerous kings from the south as well as the north is found in Silappatikaram. Tirumavalavan, Pandyan, Nedincheriya, Cheran Chenguttavan, Nuttruvar Kannar, Kanaga Vijayar, Kayavagu, and there is a mention of the Ujjain kings. Next. Not only the kings, characters from all walks of society, like also all sects, irrespective of caste, it has found a place in the epic. Mangadu Maravan, Madalan, Kavunthi, Adigal are Jain monks. Mangadu Maravan is also considered to be a Shiva Bhakt. The elements of Sanatana Dharma are found in the portrayal of characters. Next. Kaunthiyar is used to denote the female Jain monks at that time. Kaunthi used to live on the banks of Kaveri with her own monastery. Imagine a monkess with her own ashram at that time. And Kovalan and Kannagi is visiting her for penance and repentance and her guidance. Next. These are the other names of Kaunthi. Urugavathor, Kaliperenchidar Kavunthi, Madavachitti, Maruvarai Neecha, Machuri Kelvi, Ashil Kadege, Irundava Mudelvi. These are all depicting the characteristics of Kaunthi. Basically, she is the monk who calms the others' problems. She solves others' problems, gives them kindness, benevolence, and she is basically a guiding character. She has acquired her strength through tavam or meditation or the yogic way. Kaunthi is concerned about Kannagi's stature and strength. When Kovalan and Kannagi ask for help, Kaunthi is at first she is thinking that whether Kannagi can withstand such a journey, an arduous journey through the jungle. And Kovalan is also considering Kannagi as weak. Come on, let's see. Next. But in later stages, as the journey progresses, the whole one chapter is dedicated for that journey where the two female leads, that is Kavunthi and Adigal, Kannagi has a wonderful discourse where these two ladies giving strength to each other. I have never seen such a camaraderie in any other epic, to be frank. So the same Kavunthi is identifying Kannagi as the source of strength for all women. That is even before the happenings that is going to take place at a later stage in Madurai. Her divinity is being exposed because of Kavunthi's yogic practice. She could foresee the future. Next. So Kavunthi is already warning them about the Purva Janma and the karmas, because the karma will not leave us unless we work towards having good deeds. So by good deeds and bhakti, there is a bhakti, karma and jnana. And of this, bhakti is the greatest. So that's what she is telling. Actually the epic portrays two different angles. Kannagi is of a family girl who is geared towards the family life, like a marital life, whereas Kavunthi is having a yogic life. So these two characters finding camaraderie and supporting each other is what the feminism depicts, because we have in each of every woman there is a yogini as well as there's a family girl. So Kavunthi Adigal greeted him with she is always reminding others about the karma, like do good deeds, then only you will get. Come. Next. Ilango Adigal used to respect other religions and treat monks with dignity. His verses of worship reveals his devotion towards Shiva, as I said earlier. Thank you. Next. Not only Kavunthi and Kovalan, even those people who comes to greet them on the way, en route also, Kannagi is feeling the same way, because she is being treated as, she is being seen as weak. Next. Kavunthi had been living a tough life, which is yogic. Her age has contributed to her wisdom, as well as imagine such a yogini who is having so much of meditation practices. With her meditation and yogic practice, she is able to go through that arduous journey. That journey itself represents our whole life, the whole chapter itself. By providing a female companion, Ilango Adigal has upheld the values of female strength, dignity and real Shakti Bhava, which is to be expressed fully later in the later part, where Kannagi gets transformed. Next. There's a saying in Tamil culture, Pennir perindaka yavalam karpanam tinmei undaka perin. That is, chastity can give extreme strength to a woman. That's something which can give immense protection to women. Kannagi's life has encountered deep troubles like separation from her husband, Sellame, Undel, Enakure Martinin, Balvaru, Valvar Kurai. That means the troubles which have come together is very much which cannot be explained by any humans. Maybe you can skip this. This is a small story where Kannagi and Kovalan on the way they encounter some ruffians and Kavunthi curses them to become wild foxes, and in her anger she curses a yogini and they immediately turn to foxes. But see, Kannagi has such a benevolent attitude that she pleads with them for the forgiveness and Kavunthi immediately forgives. So this whole chapter is about how the yogic practices can give such powers, as well as why should not we use those powers for troubling others. Next. For Kannagi, her house is a temple. Like many of the Indian women, and familiar life is her meditation. Her chaste life is a ground for spiritual practice. Kavunthi failed to identify such strength and doubts. But Kannagi shows unbelievable strength, and even on the way, when the thirst comes and when the bodily needs comes, Kannagi exhibits so much of endurance. Next. Extremes of feminine nature such as benevolence and fierce strength is coexisting in a single person through Kannagi. It's also the major transformative trait in Kannagi as the Devi to be worshipped. Her self-realization is brought about by Kavunthi Adigal. That's the whole purpose by which Kavunthi Adigal has been introduced as the comrade or a co-partner in the journey. The verses describe her ascetic life. Karpu enapaduvadu Sotrinam Pami. Choice of the route to Madurai. That is, Madala Marayavan, he gives a choice to Kovalan. Which route you want to choose to Madurai? There are three routes. One is the easiest, one is through pleasure, and another one is the arduous or hard life through which they have to meet all the troubles. In this, Kavunthi guides them to choose the arduous life because at the end, the moksha or the transformation of Kannagi is to happen. So this is foreseen by Kavunthi at some stage. Next. In this case, there is a contrast between Puhar and Madurai. Puhar is the city from which they start the journey and Madurai is the end city. Puhar is the birthplace where Kovalan falls into other pleasures, whereas Madurai is the place where Kannagi gets transformed into a Devi. This is established with the twin characters Kannagi and Kavunthi. Next. This is the main one. For Kovalan, Madurai is the city of hope. That is for rebuilding his wealth. But for Kannagi, it is the hopes of a blessed marital life. That's all. She is a very simple woman. When the journey is taking place, she doesn't expect anything other than that. For Kavunthi Adigal, Madurai is a place of religious practice and enlightening. That's where the Madurai Amman was worshipped. The Madurai Meenakshi Kovil has verses ascribing to this Salapadikaram, as well as the visit of Kovalan and Kannagi. Traits of Kovalan like ego, flirtatious nature, etc. are revealed through Kavunti's verses, because that is the whole journey of penance for Kovalan. Usual nature of literary works is, we usually take these epics. Whichever epic you take, there will be a deity in the beginning itself who is guiding. But this is the beautiful epic where one small ordinary woman becomes a deity. So Aham Brahmasmi is the concept of Sanatana Dharma. How we have to identify, self-realize the union with God. That is what, it's a very simple one, which practically, how we can make it possible in our lives. Era, the culture and lifestyle of the people are all depicted, are all described in detail. Next. There are feminine values in Jainism too. Ilango Adigal's work spreads such tenets. Jain influence and harmonious coexistence is also depicted the basic tenets of Jainism, that is Aram, Neri and Porul, that is morals, truth and meaning. This is actually a fundamental principle of Sanatana Dharma, which has been taken into the context of Jainism. Next. The major Jains in Tamil Nadu were Digambara sect. Females were, however, considered weak as per the earliest translations, but I don't think it was a weak one, because if females were considered weak, Ilango Adigal would never have portrayed Kavunthi Adigal as a female character or companion to Kannagi, because such a weak character will always nullify the effect of the epic, and he being a king will never promote such a thing. So I believe that Kavunthi Adigal was a Jain mongoose, and female monks were used to give such prominence irrespective of the gender and religion, because females were always worshipped. That was the essence. We used to have this Sanatana Dharma right from before, that is even from 3rd BC, because after 3rd BC Jainism came into Tamil Nadu. Even before that, the Vedic culture or the folklore tradition was there, that is the nature worshippers were there in Tamil Nadu. So when Jainism came, this Jainism just upheld the values like non-violence, Aram, Neri and Porul, which was essentially a sect of Sanatana Dharma. So Jain ashrams and temples in and around Madurai Kanchi as a proof. It is still there. The monasteries are there.
You have some pictures for us, Sandhya? Are they there?
Yeah, it's there. Archaeological evidences.
So show us those pictures and then time.
Yeah. We can just skip it.
Yes,
Next,
see
after this, archaeological evidences.
Yeah.
It's coming. Yeah, it's the final part.
Yes,
So Madurai was known by the name Konagram, centered to the race of Tamil, that is Hinduism as well as Jainism. These are the major cluster of hills that I personally visited. There are around 8 hills around Madurai: Yanamalai, Nagamalai, Samanamalai, Solamalai, Pasumalai. All these were remnants of Jain schools and stone inscriptions. The beauty is there is a Shivalinga worship also there. There is a Shaiva worship, there is a Shiva temple. The worship is being done there even now. And the Jain monks, the abode is there, but Jain monks are not there, but their abode you can visit and see, and the Tirthankaras and all that, their drawings are there. So it's all very nicely portrayed. Next. And there are other inscriptions also, like Coexistence of Jainism and Hinduism in single temple complex itself. In Tirupankot, North Arcot district, and Tingalur district of Coimbatore, up and another temple at Tirunangondai. That is a Shaiva temple actually. But again, this Aram Valarthan Magan Anandappan Sadaseve, that means a Jain monk has made offerings. Murals depicting Jain monks and belief systems there are several in and around this Narthamalai of Pudukkottai district, where my area of research was concentrated, because after Kavunthi Adigal, I was curious to know whether such evidences were there in real, like any stone inscriptions or anything like some archaeological things. Luckily I found that. And to be true, that was worshipped. This Narthamalai temple was built by the great grandfather of King Rajaraja Chola, who built the Pragadishwara temple. So that was unharmed. That was their, it was their Kuladevam Koil, that their own family deity. Vivid murals described in that. These are the major hills of that. Yeah. So, as per this one, I have found that Bharat was, I don't want to describe it as India, because we are not confined to Indus alone. Indus is not the single river, it's only a single river. There is a Saraswati, there is the Kaveri, there is the Vaigai, everyone. Our rivers are all one. We are all have, this land is essentially a culture imbibed in it. That is a spirituality which is imbibed in us, in each of us. So the feminine form, as the equivalent to nature, it was worshipped, it was revered, it was cared for. So that culture is inherent in us, and that's why we are still flourishing in spite of all the liberalization or westernization. And And the belief systems which branched out from this, I will say that Jainism is a branch of this Sanatana Dharma because it has come at a later stage. Sanatana Dharma which has no beginning. I don't find any beginning because we have the Mahabharata epics which are more predated than this, whatever Sangam literature all. So I would gladly accept that the sects which came out of Hinduism with its main core values, without distortion, it all concludes the same belief system, same unifying concept of non-violence and truth. And the real life, that is the ascetic life and the bhakti mark. Through our bhakti, karma and jnana, we can gain moksha, and that's the ultimate liberation, as we said. And for each female, it was not like what they used to say, like the females were not oppressed. There was no caste system. I have not found any evidence of caste system in the whole of Sirapadikaram. The 5730 verses never say anything derogatory about any caste. But yet it says about the tribal people worshipping Kannagi and Kovalan. And that's the beauty of our own tradition. And that's what I found.
Thank you, Sandhya.
Thank you.
That was a video. Both literary as well as archaeological. Does anyone have any questions?
Yeah, I have. Quickly.
Yeah.
So I have two questions. One question is when you talk about Digambar women considered as weak. So in that context,
Actually, I made it a start. Actually, I made it a start because I was not sure about it.
So and that is what even I read in secondary literature, that male Digambar male ascetics, they consider female, they consider women's body as misfit or unfit to attain moksha.
Actually, I don't think so, because in this Kavunthi Adigal is giving a penance. Like for whatever Kovalan's fate has come, she takes it on herself that she has brought them. She has guided them from Puhar to Madurai, and she takes it like, oh, because of me they have to undergo all those things. So I should consider that, and she offers the penance, and she sacrifices as per the tradition.
Do we have sufficient evidence to cite or support these arguments?
Yes, it is there. That's what I said. And the next, there's a twin epic I said, Mani Meghalai. It's full of that.
Okay.
That's why I am continuing the research because of that.
You have another question?
Yeah. So also you talk about that harmonious coexistence. So in that I have this 8th century commentator Haribhadra. So he narrated this stories of converting Hindu mythologies, Hindu deities, Chamunda and Shiva into Jain deities, because they are indulged in violence and also
I will say my personal experience, because in Narthamala I have personally visited, and there was a very large pond there. And in front of that there was a temple, and I have found that inside the temple premises, that is inside the Garbhagriha, the Shivalinga was not there, and only the Jain Tirthankaras was there, like one mural of Jain Tirthankara. And in entrance side there was the 12 forms of Vishnu. It was all unharmed. And again, after 2 years, when they have found that the whole pond was dried up because of recent drought, there was an inside a cave, the Shivalinga was there, which was very huge, and the worship has begun. And that was really like
Sandhya, where was this? Which place?
in Narthamalai. I have gone there and I have the ASA permission that.
I think Sandhya and Shikha will have.
Yeah, we will coordinate.
If anyone else has any questions, you have
I don't have a question, but I just want to say there was so much of Draupadi talk in the morning and everything. Another thing you can say is
Yes, absolutely. I think such a very important balance.
Yeah, the story is as dramatic and as beautiful as
And the last scene is absolutely,